Welcome back. Nick, I hear we have a new update for the pod.
Yeah, we do. We do. I think kind of sad news, but arising out of happy news. So the long and short of it is sadly we're going to have to cut down on the frequency that we release these episodes. That is because Posh Outdoors is becoming very very real, which is kind of the happy news, I suppose. And we're all set now for a spring opening for our first location, and basically I am in charge of making sure that that launch is a success. So I'll be running the ads and all of that good stuff, which I'll be telling the story about on the pod and in the newsletter for the next 4 months. And there's a very real chance that I may be running another one or two campaigns alongside that for locations 2 and 3. So basically the next few months are going to be very very busy, and it's certainly not going to get any quieter beyond that as we look to expand our footprint. So something has to go, and I wish I had 48 hours in a day, but I don't. So had to make the difficult decision of cutting down a little bit on the frequency. The podcast isn't going away completely, and we are kind of figuring out the frequency that we publish after Christmas. It will be at least once a month. I know, Connor and I are speaking about doing maybe a couple of episodes a month. That one of those might not involve me, but we are figuring it out. But yeah, this will be kind of the last episode before Christmas, and then we'll have a little break and we will come back with more news in the new year. But yeah, we just kind of wanted to give everyone the heads up. It's been a decision that's been made quite recently, but wanted to give everyone the heads up, and hopefully it's not too disappointing. And I think Connor, particularly if we do one a month or a couple a month, I think it will actually mean that those episodes are, particularly useful and fun, and it means we can be super selective about the guests that we bring on, which I think will make each episode better, even though there is less of it.
Well, I could say that as your friend and co-host, I'm sad that I won't get to see you as much. But I can say as your investor, as an investor in Posh, I'm thrilled about the progress that you guys are making. Seeing your guys' first cabins, the photos of them look incredible, and the site looks amazing in the snow. So can't wait to see you guys open up and crush it, and about all the progress. So, anyone who's listening, you better invest in Posh now. You're running out of time. Get there early.
Yeah, and I've never wanted to kind of turn the podcast or any of my kind of mediums into a Posh ad, and certainly I think there was a time where we probably stepped over the line a little bit. But if anyone is interested in kind of keeping up with what we're doing, and I will be sharing the lessons that I learned from that, then the newsletter is the best place to keep up to date with that. There is a link in the description. It's called the Glamping Insider, and each week is kind of a value piece at the start, and then there's a few sections, one of which is the Posh report. So if you do want to keep up to date with what's going on at Posh, then we will be mentioning little bits on the podcast, and we'll be probably weekly updates in the newsletter. And I think, Connor, in our kind of list of ideas, we do want to do or I want to do the Posh Outdoors story at some point, just as though I were as though I were a guest on the podcast, because it is a long and an interesting story, and I think it'd be quite fun to tell from start to finish. It'd be cool to share the journey, but that's probably a few months away. We want to get that first location open first, but stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really special opportunity, and I know I'll be asking you whenever we do reconnect what the updates are. So getting those, you're at kind of the critical part of launch, so where it's really becoming tangible. So getting those live updates of, snags and solutions and things that come up will be super valuable. So I'm excited to check in on those.
Great. And today is a little bit of a special episode. I am a sucker for like Christmas specials of anything, whether it's TV shows, movies, YouTube channels, whatever it may be. So thought, well, why not do one for the podcast? So it's going to be a bit of a, hope there'll be some value, but also a bit of fun for everyone who's a regular listener today. So we've brought back our favourite co-host, Jacob Halverson, who we love and who is just arriving now. So you'll see what the episode's all about as we get into it. But we're all wearing our Christmas jumpers, and we're going to greet Jacob now. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving.
Jacob, welcome back to the pod.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
We've all got our Christmas jumpers on.
Yes.
We're going to have a bit of fun today, but first of all, I'm curious, as you know, my two friends, how are you guys spending Christmas this year?
Still very much up in the air, I think. There's a lot of pull to go back to Maryland and spend it with my mother. I'm splitting my life right now between California and New Mexico, so there's some pull for me to go to California. So yeah, it is. I'm gonna play it by ear, or I might just be in Santa Fe. Who knows?
I like it. Flying fast and loose.
Very.
I'll be in Bend. Oregon, so I'm excited. I'll get to spend 6 weeks here. A lot of my family will come into town. I got 3 brothers, so we'll probably mess around and beat each other up and eat food and be lazy.
I'm sure I saw a picture of you and your family on your Instagram, and there must be some strong genes in that Schwab family, because I swear they look exactly like you. You couldn't pick them out of a crowd.
I'm the smallest. Yeah, I'm the runt of the litter. Yeah, we'll probably get up to the mountain for some skiing. I just got a backcountry ski set up, so I'm hoping to get out into the woods a bit.
Nice. Well, I am.
How about you, Nick?
I'm going home. I can't wait. See my family, see the little nieces and nephews, meeting the 4th nephew for the first time. He was born in the summer, so that should be fun. So yeah, I'm going back on the 22nd, and then we've got my annual school friends Christmas pub crawl, which is usually in fancy dress on the 23rd. So I'll be stumbling around Burton-on-Trent town centre within 24 hours of arriving home, and then I'm going to London to that's where my sister is hosting the family for Christmas dinner, and I'll be back in the new year. Cool. And then Jacob, what's Bishop's Lodge up to at Christmas?
So many things. Well, we have our Christmas dinner, which is seated and coursed out. We're doing a bunch of spiritual alignments, trying to get folks ready for the new year in that way. We'll do a couple gratitude hikes on property. We're doing some Biscochito cookie decorating workshops. What else? I have a whole slew of things. We are having a holiday market, which is before Christmas, so it actually will probably have already happened once this is released. So that's really exciting, and that's a whole tree lighting, and I have 15 different vendors coming, and it's going to be all decked out. So that's a big community event. 200 people came last year. So I think this is that market's probably the first time I'm actually feeling a little pressure. So we'll see. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, a lot of just getting folks prepped for the new year, and then special crafts. We're doing snow globe crafting this month on the calendar. We've got seasonal candle making on the calendar this month. We've got wreath making every Thursday on the calendar. So for me, it's this whole month is kind of festive, and then Christmas Day will be a lot of culinary focused.
Is it a busy time? Do a lot of guests come at Christmas?
I think so. I mean, Thanksgiving was busy more than I'm always, and last 10 years, I'm always surprised about how busy these holidays are, but there's a good international mix, right? Because it's a good time to travel if you're not celebrating a traditional American holiday, if you will. So I'm always very pleased. I get to meet people from all over the world, because that's just been the trend, especially on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So yeah.
Did you come up with those ideas, making snow globes, making wreaths, making candles?
I do curate that programming. Yeah.
That kind of reminds me a little bit of what we talked about on our episode millennia ago, about people getting the chance to do something tactile, creative, get in the flow, and then they get to bring it back home with them. And all of those things that you mentioned, except for the snow globe, the candles and the wreaths probably have a nice scent to it, and maybe they're branded with some Bishop Lodge engravings or something. So those people bring those things home. It sits on their coffee table for a year or something. That's pretty good product placement.
We like the wax seal, we like a good wax seal. But no, it's fun. And I think it's I don't know, it's hobbies that you're maybe I will do this at home. I think I converted 5 staff members to candle makers during the test run of it all. So I think, yeah, it's cool to. I love doing things technically. You know, I love that you got to get the hands on it. The leather tooling, like all of it matters.
On the glamping side, when you're at Mendocino, were they open at Christmas?
We were not open at Christmas.
Okay.
December was like fun because we were like tear down. We had a rocking holiday party. I think the holiday party's tonight actually over there. So yeah, no, December is a month of just cleaning, staging, and getting wrapped up for next season in Mendocino Groveland.
Is like mid-January through mid-February until Valentine's Day, is that like, would you say that's your slowest time of the year?
At Auberge, it's definitely off season, right? For the Santa Fe market. But we have such a great sales team that they are kind of just like, they're dropping in groups kind of everywhere. So I want to say yes, but like the inertia of it all is saying kind of no.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a few fun questions to run through, some glamping related, some not. So we're going to kick things off. Favorite glamping site? Connor, let's start with you.
It's got to be Open Sky. It's got to be Big Mill's property. And I've said it on the podcast before, but the Horseshoe Canyon that his property in is just spectacular. You can hike up to the ridge and see Zion. I think most people might say his property because his units are so epic, and while the units are cool, I'm more about the property itself. And then I love Zion as a national park. It's probably my favorite. So to be able to get to go in Zion and then hang out at his Horseshoe Canyon, like, that's just, yeah, I love it. I'd also give, I recently got to go stay at Walden Retreats like 3 months ago and stay out on Blake's property. And that was really special. It's just super peaceful. I wouldn't say it's a little bit more simple, but I think like the ethos that he has around the property about unplugging and slowing down and getting into nature and the Walden aspect of it is really special as well.
I love the way he branded that. Like, it works so well with the book that, you know, the name is taken from. And yeah, I completely agree. Jacob?
Well, you know, the hometown hero is my favorite, always and forever, Mendocino Grove. But if I had to go outside of that circle, I mean, I also love Moab. So I'm going to go Ulum in Moab, the new luxury kid on the block. Or like Paws Up does everything amazing. So glamping at Paws Up in Montana would also be fun, because then you get all of the resort amenities and the glamping at the same time. And
for the listeners, Ulum is Under Canvas's like sister brand, right?
Yeah, it's their high end brand.
Is it just higher end than Under Canvas?
Better furnishings and better fixtures and more quality in room. I think the room product is far superior. Yeah.
Yeah, more expensive, no doubt.
What have you been to Paws Up, Jacob?
No, I have not, but I am obsessed. I mean, like, we have, I've applied for positions over there over the years. I have stalked the brand, and I know I've met a couple of their senior leaders personally, but I have not had the budget to stay at Paws Up.
You don't have $3,000 laying around?
I don't have the budget, but I really love the ethos, and the leaders are very special there. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell the listeners a little bit about Paws Up, Jacob, because it's pretty unique.
Paws Up is a kind of like an outdoor mecca and very well-known brand in Greenville, Montana. And it's a resort, and it's 30,000 acres or something like that. We'll have to fact check the exact amount of land, but of like Montana wilderness. So they have luxury tents. They have like camping. They have a resort. They have a lot of different unit mixes. They do private camping butlers. They do, you know, spa treatments by this brook that they have, and like horse whispering workshops. I mean, it's very much Yellowstone, the American TV series, for hospitality. I mean, it's that level of execution. I mean, just from a staffing level, I don't think their executive committee has changed in 10 years.
And they have like an insane amount of activities, right? I always wonder, you know, how on earth that thing functions. It must be like a military operation.
Crafted over having the same leadership for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's very well done, and I don't know how many Michelin keys they earned, but I'm sure they earned a couple on this last little scout. So they might be the only glamping unit that also has a Michelin key in the world. I'm not sure, but let's fact check that as well.
What does that mean, a Michelin key? Is that like a key to a what do you mean by that?
The Michelin Guide is how restaurants formally kind of gauge their successes, right? And now they have introduced from Michelin stars to Michelin keys into the hospitality world. So that's what people are now striving for. They want that Michelin key in the luxury space anyway.
So is it about the F&B or is it about the room or both? Is that how you get a Michelin key?
And service, it's a whole spectrum of like hitting these benchmarks for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, and a bunch of Auberge properties. The portfolio got littered with keys, so that's where we're going for Bishop's Lodge. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, well, we'll have to throw you a party episode if you end up getting a key. That'd be sick.
It's so challenging, though. I mean, it's really hard. Yeah.
I believe in you.
It's going to happen. But yeah, Pause Up is just like, if you want to splurge and have the resources to do it, like, it's a very hard glamping unit to beat because of everything that's built around it.
Hi there. Long-time listeners of the show might remember Paul Bosley, who was on the podcast previously talking about all things glamping financing. Paul is from Business Finance Depot, and they specialize in SBA loans, USDA loans, and equipment financing. Now, Paul is my go-to guy for glamping financing. Whenever someone asks me for financing help with their glamping project, I always introduce them to him. He's able to help with so many different types of loans. He's so knowledgeable. He's got relationships with a lot of different banks, and he's just generally my go-to guy because he's so versatile with that. Now, Paul has a financial planning spreadsheet that his clients use that is really detailed and allows you to plan out everything from setup costs to revenues, profits, return on investments, payback times, etc. And we're actually giving it away for free to podcast listeners. So check out the link in the description. There'll be a link there to download the financial planning spreadsheet. You can input all your data and it will churn out all those numbers for you to help get you started on your financing journey. And if you want an introduction to Paul, just let me know and I will do that. And just so you know, if any of my clients or prospects secure financing with Paul through my introduction, we do get a nice little commission as well. So if you want to support the podcast and me personally, then just let me know and I'll happily introduce you to Paul and hopefully he can solve your financing needs. So again, there's a link in the description to download the financial planning spreadsheet. It really is worth a go. And if you want an intro to Paul, just let me know and I'll set you up right away. And my email is nick@glampytech.com if you did want that intro. So download that spreadsheet. Let me know if you want to speak to Paul and on to the episode. Yeah, on my side, I'm going to have to go with my boy Big Nell as well. The only problem with this industry is it's so bloody expensive. Like,
I can't stay at any of these places.
And I'm making the problem worse because we're going to be charging $500 plus a night. So sorry guys, but that is I think maybe latter half of next year, maybe going into 2026, I want to become a much better travelled glamper. I just need to get the money up first, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll go Big Nog if Sky takes that.
We can't stay at Auberge. We can't stay at Kananaskis.
But the good thing is, the longer I'm in this industry, the more free stays I get offered at these places. But you've got to, they're all over the US. So I just need to go on some more road trips and just leech off people a little bit. But question 2, favorite unit type.
Is this to stay in or to run your business off of?
Just as a general admirer, that you think is a unit that you think is sexy.
All right, I'll lead us off. For me, it's a mirror cabin, and actually,
it's a mirror house. Yeah,
after just seeing Posh's new mirror cabin, I think that one is sick. It's kind of half and half, floor to ceiling windows on 2 sides, and yeah, I think it's just the best customer experience, low maintenance. It looks amazing from the inside looking out with those hero views, and then it blends in with the natural landscape, which is really big for me.
Yeah, I love a mirror cabin. I love a mirror house. I think it's just so, because like the whole point is to be in nature. So why wouldn't you want a unit that just like reflects nature upon you and attacks you with nature? I mean, it's like it is an attack on the senses. I think it's really special. not my favorite unit to manage, I would imagine. I mean, I've never done it, but the brain is like thinking, we'll see. Nick, I believe in you.
What's your
I believe in
concerns,
you.
Jacob?
I don't have like a durability concern. I just have like more of a like always cleaning that outside, or what does that look like, on a day to day. It'd also be like a little heartbreaking if it gets scratched. Anything that you build permanently is concerning in the outdoor space. So it's like when I see the landscape hotels, I'm like, that's wonderful, but if you build or contracted that unit and then plopped it into the great wilderness, like what does that look like? So like I think from a management standpoint, a canvas tent, something that you can take down, deep clean, pack away, store, rinse and repeat that's why I think the managing side's a little different than my aesthetic.
Yeah, but I feel like the canvas would get damaged a lot more frequently if you're packing it up and taking it down than if something's staying in place. I mean, aside from a tree falling on it, like, what's gonna scratch it?
I don't know. Do you have fire pokers?
Kids.
Do you have kids? I mean, like
I'll let
grilling
you know.
utensils.
I'll let you know in a year's time.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in the durability. It's just hard. Like Davis Tents, like he does this really amazing like treatment to the outside of the tent that I don't know if it's like custom to like his development, but that tent is very durable. And it's like some enzyme binding thing that he binds to the threads of those tents.
My only concern with the mirror cabins is the birds crashing into it. I would feel really bad if we killed a lot of birds. I wouldn't be very happy about that. But
I think there are there are a couple of solutions. So I'm pretty sure Oud use like a UV wrap on theirs. We're looking at that. We're also looking at like a noise, a kind of noise thing on top of the unit that only birds can hear that keeps them away. So there are a few different solutions, but yeah, I mean that's a way to wake you up in the morning. A seagull flying straight into the glass that will scratch it.
that would be interesting if there was a noise thing that literally keeps them away, because then you kind of want to have birds next to the units, like having them fly around or make noises near the units and like by
Guys,
the decks.
this is
It's,
the
like, kind of part of
Christmas
experience.
episode with just poking holes in Nick's whole plan. Just like, Merry Christmas. Boom, boom, boom. Stab,
Hey, I
stab,
said it was
poke.
my favorite unit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go all in on mirror cabins. I am biased. Obviously, that's the unit we're going with for the first five. First five at Sky Ridge, Posh's first location. But the mirror aspect is cool. But for me, we've got and I'll put a link to some photos in the description. The best thing for us on our unit is like the section where the mirror is on the front, as that you take in the view with. That's like an 11-foot sheer glass front, and it's just insane when you look out of it. And I've only seen it first in the factory, second in like a temporary location we've got overlooking a river, which is really nice. But the moment I lay eyes on the mountains through that kind of viewing sheet for the first time, I might actually cry that it's finally happened. But yeah, it's just the sheer size of it, and to have kind of that any kind of unit. It doesn't have to be mirror, but any kind of unit where you have a big, tall, wide like viewing section of the unit, I think is super cool. Having experienced that myself.
To give a little shout out to a different unit type, the kid in me has to say treehouse. Assuming it has big windows. For me, having big windows and an outdoor deck is like the biggest part of the guest experience that I want to capitalize on, and oftentimes treehouses aren't able to do that. But if you can have, something that's in the tree that has a nice deck and has some big windows to look out at the nature, then yeah, treehouses are so epic.
I would also say as well, long run, say Posh, for example, we're making 20-year bets on these locations. And, the one thing that I do have in the back of my mind is, is a modular unit that we pick in 2024 still going to work in 2040? So we have to be conscious of that. But I do think, either stick built or just completely bespoke units like tree houses, I think, they do stand a better chance of still being awesome in 20 years. And, obviously they're a lot more difficult to build bespoke and a lot more expensive generally. But, all other things being equal, maybe that is the way to go, just because you can be a little bit more timeless in your design, I think, and it's extra unique rather than modular, right?
What's interesting about modular is there's some huge transportation restrictions with the transportation department that make it so it really needs to be a rectangle, at least a lot easier. But it would be fascinating. I mean, it really stuck with me when Tori was saying that they put their units are pentagons and they have 5 walls, so it's not a square, which I always thought was really special. Like, I wonder if in the future, if you guys ever came up with like a modular 5-wall unit and maybe it was transported in 2 pieces or something like that, would be very cool.
Yeah, and I'm always a little bit jealous of the likes of Bolt Farm and Isaac French at Live Oak Lake as well. In when they tell the stories of how they design their units, I couldn't touch them. I'm terrible at designing things, but being able to just have that blank canvas and be like, okay, I'm going to build something completely new. And when you do that, you have the chance to have 5 walls. Or Isaac French, I know, just obsessed over every single detail of his cabins at Live Oak Lake. And I am a little bit jealous that if we're going modular heavy, then we will miss out on that. But ultimately, you've got to kind of do what makes sense for your business. But if you're super creative, then I think bespoke is kind of a fun challenge to do.
Yeah, like bring back the A-frames. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as transportability, a triangle can be positioned in a lot of ways geometrically. But yeah, Connor, like, as I dream about other projects, I put that through the filter too, of modular. That does make modular a little tough. Stick built, you get the full freedom, right? It's just your architect and you and the materials you choose. But yeah, I love a good A-frame. So if someone could lean into that a little bit more, that'd be helpful.
I'm a big fan of the A-frames as well. Yeah, big fan.
Connor, I'm going to ask you the world's easiest question for you to answer. There will be absolutely no surprises as to what the answer is going to be. What is your favorite amenity?
Yeah, it's got to be a sauna. I would go stay at a property with a sauna, like hands down, over another property, simply because of that factor. I would choose a gym that had a sauna over one that didn't, simply because of that. So I'm a bit of a weirdo, and then if it had a cold plunge aspect or a lake or something you could jump into, that'd be amazing. But since that was the very obvious answer and everyone knew, I do want to put a little runner up in there. And that was, which we talked about on our episode, which is the wiffle golf. I loved that experience so much. And I think what's so cool about creating a wiffle ball course is it is something that really allows you to be creative and work into the natural landscape that you have and give people an experience that they've never had before. And it's low cost. So it's like high creativity, high uniqueness, and plays really well into like landscape hospitality.
I'm glad wiffle golf is getting second shout out. Second shout out for wiffle golf. Now I'm like, man, because I know we have the space. Maybe I should start thinking about this wiffle golf thing.
Come on, Jacob.
Yeah, favorite amenity is a tough one. I'm gonna go body of water then, Connor. I think that's right. I'm gonna go natural amenity, and then I can give like a man-made amenity. But there is something very special of accessing water during a camping trip that I think is, I mean, it's a special resource, obviously. So I would say lake, river, creek. If that's part of your campground, that is something that maybe from a marketing side you should lean into, because that's unique. And favorite amenity that can be man-made, let's say coffee shop. I mean, that's very important to my hospitality stays. I love access to an Americano or a Cortado, and that was my favorite thing that we added at Mendocino Grove, and we had the sauna and we had plenty of outdoor seating and lookout points, and but God, that coffee shop was so fun. And I think it's just like amazing to like be camping and get a latte in the morning.
Is that your order? A Cortado or a...
I think it's Americano, Cortado. Yeah, it just depends on the day.
What is a Cortado?
Cortado is about like a 2-ounce shot of espresso and about 4 ounces of milk, steamed like a latte. It's like a very, very short latte, but it's like the perfect amount of steamed milk and a lot of espresso.
Did you guys ever offer, like, you would take, like, you could take a Cortado to someone's room? They'd be like greeted in the morning at a certain time with their Cortado. Is that feasible, or it's just you come to the coffee shop and you get it?
I think, prior to Mendocino Grove blowing up, right? the breakfast was not in a central location. You did get breakfast baskets delivered at your tent, but that's talking about like 20 units or so in which you could really like make that happen at a limit. Once it gets past that, centralizing that amenity is, I think, really key. So it was not it, but we were trying to get to the point where you could pre-order your morning coffee and hang it on little like door tags outside your tent or on your zipper, in which like our team could collect that very early, and you would write your time that you wanted it, and you would be picking it up. So that's as close as we were kind of getting at that point in time.
That might be. I mean, I feel like Auberge might be at the level of luxury or quality. I assume you guys have an on-site coffee shop barista, yeah?
Yeah, and we have in-room dining, right? So you could just call your in-room dining option and get the full menu there. But yeah, I work out of the coffee shop most days.
That would be a really interesting aspect to like really lean into and put a ton of emphasis on at Auberge. I don't know what it's like normally, but like if that was something you said at check-in or there was a little pamphlet, it's like, hey, like either let us know ahead of time or like call in the morning and tell us, like, we'll bring you your coffee. Almost like be like, we're going to bring you coffee in the morning. Like, what do you want and how do you want it and at what time?
Yeah, I also like to not give people choices. So just like to be already
It is
shoving service down people's throat is my style. So like I do love that approach. Yeah.
it is crazy how deep some people are into coffee and like how much they're like my business partner was looking the other day, and he's into it pretty deep. He was looking at a $30,000 coffee machine. It's like,
What?
who's buying that? People are, man. It's like how people spend like shit tons of money on their dogs. Like it doesn't matter how expensive it is, they will buy it. It's the same with coffee. I don't get it.
I know, to the point, like I lived in Portland and they have a very strong coffee scene and they're very proud of their coffee. And it's like now when people come to me and it's like, I want to do a coffee experience in northern New Mexico, I like sometimes have to pick my eyes off the ground. I'm like, not this again. You know, it's just like, it's got to be like kind of the soul of the place, and you know, it's not there.
Amenities, I'm going to have to go with Connor's answer again. You know, spa, wellness kind of treatments, I think are just perfect for the kind of experience you're trying to create at a glamping site where you just pause, reset, and just be calm. And I think that's perfect. And I am very much looking forward to when we test out Skyridge, the first site. There's the Nordic spa that Connor and I went to 5 minutes down the road, and that is going to be awesome. Head into that. So I definitely agree with that one.
Are you going to do any on-site massages, or is you just like because it's down the street, you're just going to let them go down the street?
I think it's in the plan. It's more for Christelle, like the partners, the rev share partners on that deal, who obviously run things on the ground. I think it is maybe in the plan. There is an on-site building that's going to be used for a few different things. So I believe so, but I could be wrong.
It's so easy to just transfer it into the room, Nick, if you want, or just like throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to brainstorm. If that becomes a thing, I feel like you could work out of
Well, I know we're definitely betting on, or we are going to bet on wellness as well. So Ed, EJH, the company that's supplying our structures, they're working with the same manufacturer that made the looking glass mirror cabins, and they're building spa units, basically modular spa units.
Nice.
Just because the industry is evolving, and Ben Wolf, who's I don't want to keep mentioning Posh, he is on the Posh board, but he is far better known for Onera and all the other sites, or all the other stuff he's done in the industry, and he's been on the podcast a few times now. He wrote a really great piece, which I'll link to in the description, about how he thinks the puck is going in that super great amenities direction, and wellness is a huge part of that. So we're certainly going to be betting on it. I think we're going to be incorporating into our rev share offering these modular spa units, and I think that's just the next way the industry is going is those super cool amenities.
Jacob, so you guys at Auberge are offering in-room spa massages currently, correct?
We have a spa building.
So they just go to
Yeah, Bishop's Lodges actually will soon be getting our permanent spa. Right now it is like a bodywork studio that's on property, and we have, I think, 6 treatment rooms, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's busy. So they have a place to go, but we do bring the massage table as needed,
To people's rooms as well?
Yeah.
Wow. So there's 6 rooms? That's a real operation. That's like a facility.
I think that's right. Yeah. Either 6 or 4. Yeah. But that's the expectation, right, for luxury. And that was the fun when you were in glamping, like, or being in the outdoor hospitality space. It's like when you brought those hotel elements into an outdoor experience, it was your separator, right? So I'm very interested to see what the industry does in the next 10 years, because the only thing separate, I mean, we could build units. I mean, I'm ready for some of these to come back on the market for sale, right? To then be the operator that benefits from these beautiful designs. But it's tough because it's going to be the property as the distinguishing effort and your marketing, and less about the amenities, because there is a melding of amenities in these luxury new brands that are coming out. I mean, it's hard to get my attention right now in the outdoor hospitality space, except for the people that I love, like you, Nick, and I'm tracking. But it's like there's a lot of brands that are coming out with beautiful room products, and I'm like, how sustainable is that? We shall see.
Hi, friends. This is your host, Connor Schwab at Sage Outdoor Advisory. If you're launching an outdoor hospitality project like glamping, we can help. We offer feasibility studies and appraisals. What that means is we look at your specific market and proposed business offering and complete an in-depth analysis and financial projections to make sure that your planned business will be profitable. Getting a second opinion on your proposal and forecasted financials is critical to understand before you spend years of your time and hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is particularly important if you are looking to raise money for your project from a bank or private investors. They are going to want to see this type of in-depth analysis from an independent third-party specialist in the industry. We have completed over 250 feasibility studies and appraisals in outdoor hospitality in the US in the last 4 years. So we understand what it takes to bring a project from concept to reality. If this sounds like it could be helpful to you, you can go to our website, sageoutdooradvisory.com, and you can schedule a complimentary consultation with our team. Thanks. Now back to the show.
I'm really interested to know, and I think long-term plan, this is something I probably want to get involved with, is, can glamping become a cultural cornerstone? I don't think it'll ever be a camping or RV industry like that level of culture, but why not? It's only been around for 10 years, and really been around, as a well-known thing for a few years. And could it compete with hotels as a serious part of the kind of hospitality industry? Because right now it's a niche, but I'm interested in it.
No, I really do think so. I just think that, like, creating a beautiful room product and operating that product are so different. And there are so many creative, amazing, engineer-minded people coming into the space. Is like, how sustainable is that? Or do you do like what we spoke about? It's like, do folks start franchising, right? Because I'm an operator, or I'm a builder, and I can build this beautiful place. I can't operate. So who's going to take this on as a franchise opportunity? I think there's a lane for that in the next 5 to 10 years.
I think I wrote about this in the newsletter the other week. Actually, I think it is important that if the industry is to really establish itself, is the affordable stays have to be really good, because if they're terrible, then I just think people dismiss glamping as throwing a few tents in a field. But if they're really good experiences, then I think that will play a big role in making the industry something for the long run.
It's going to benefit Connor, because people are going to need to be bailed out on some ops leadership training, and they're going to call Connor. They're like, Connor, please tell me how to operate. And I think, there will be a leveling of that.
And then I'll call you, because I don't know anything about operating. I totally agree with what you're saying, and I'm stoked to see this posh unit that is a mirror cabin that has the spa, because I think it's smart to be getting at the forefront of that trend. Before we move on, I had one question for you, Jacob. You mentioned being next to water. Would you choose ocean, a river, or a lake to be on?
As a guess first, I'm going to choose river. And as an operator, I want to choose lake.
Why is that?
Ocean has a lot of risk from an operator standpoint. I mean, if you're oceanfront and you've got people in, riptides, it's It's not helpful. The river seems like as a guest, just like super cool, just to like dip in, dip out. There's also fishing opportunities. It just seems like a really comfortable body of water. And then the lake aspect is you could do a lot on the lake, right? Like you could rent canoes and kayaks and get that big bounce thing that like launches you 100 feet into the air into the lake. So I think like the amenities that you could provide for guests is strong in a lake. The ocean definitely narrows that, but aesthetically it's beautiful. As a guest, I'm picking river.
That's interesting. How about you, Nick?
I think lake, although the sound of the river running as you're like just having that morning coffee would be awesome. Having your really super expensive Cortado or whatever it's called.
A cortado.
Cortado.
Cortado. I don't know.
I don't smoke anymore, but like a cortado and a cigarette by the brook, it's like, woo.
Wow. I just got a picture of you being like a very French man with a baguette and a cigarette and a coffee. That's interesting. I think those are good points. I think oceanfront real estate is the most valuable type of real estate. So that's an interesting one from an owner but who knows, with ocean levels rising, that does present risks, and people getting swept up to sea present risks. Also a river, I mean, it depends how fast it's moving, but like rivers have currents too, so you might lose a couple guests downstream. I think I might, but you brought up a really good point about the sound, because I think there is something really special, particularly if you have canvas-based units, going to bed listening to the river or listening to ocean waves. Both of those are really special experiences. But I think for hobbies and paddleboarding, swimming, boating, fishing, I do think a lake is the most approachable and the most friendly.
Okay, glamping, naughty and nice list. If you could banish one thing, and if there was one thing that you wish there was more of, what would it be? So kind of start with you. Who's on your naughty, or what is on your naughty and nice list?
Give me a second to think if anyone else wants to go first.
So you didn't prep?
I just want it to be good.
All right. Go on, Jacob.
Yes, for sure. So one thing that I want to abolish from glamping, is it like wave a wand?
Yeah.
I really think glamping is beneficial to private neighbors. So I'd love to abolish this like idea that like having a glamping business next to you as a private owner is a bad thing. You like, I think it's energetically like you want that in the space. People are like having a good time next door. Like I want to like, I don't like the fact that this is like, it's treated zoning wise. So like to see glamping as like this very difficult, hard thing on a municipality or a township, I just like, that's got to go away. Like this is the, like, it's, that ethos has to change.
I think to do that, we just have to banish NIMBYs. Like, I'm so with you. It baffles me how angry people get about that stuff.
Me too. It's like I was thinking about Under Canvas going in Washington near a site visit. It took them like 3 years. And I was like, if you don't want a brand like Under Canvas coming in your neighborhood, what do you want? Like, at some point land will be developed, and like, if it's not a high end, $300 to $500 a night, bringing in, respectful high end customers who are paying a ton in taxes and then very concerned and prioritizing the nature and sustainability, and bringing guests to the area, it's just like, if you don't want that, what do you want?
Also, it's a cool thing to have on your doorstep as well, right? Like,
yeah.
I forgot I forgot there was a term for that. I do remember reading that or seeing that on one of the headlines on the YouTube clips.
Nick just wrote a great article about it.
I know. I saw the headline of that.
It was a rant.
I was so angry. And then one thing that I would like to see more of, let's get more fire valets. Let's get more people out starting campfires for their guests, because it was a very successful program at Mendocino Grove. Firewood delivery, $10 a bundle. We made so much money in revenue perspective on firewood. And the guest experience, having that young, excited person talking to you about their camping and how their stay is going, and just all the benefit that you get from that information gathering from that one employee is like so helpful. So let's do more of that.
That's a great point.
I like it. So if I could just banish something from the outdoor hospitality world that wasn't ragging on anybody, it would be mosquitoes. Because I think mosquitoes can ruin outdoor hospitality real fast, and there's just not really anything you can do about it. But if we're talking about something like man-made in the industry, I'm going to take a second to rag on Getaway's name change to Postcard Cabins.
Hey guys, very quick interjection. We're about to talk a little bit about Getaway's name change to Postcard Cabins, and we recorded this before the recent announcement that Marriott was acquiring Postcard Cabins, formerly Getaway. So if we had known that, we probably would have adjusted this discussion slightly, but in the interest of transparency, we're just going to leave it raw and unedited. So hope you enjoy, and back to the episode.
I was talking about that with someone earlier. It's like, Getaway Cabin, that's got to be one of the most sought after names that you could think of in this industry. Like, that is an amazing domain and URL. Getaway Cabin. That's like as good as a domain name and branding could get. And then to switch to Postcard Cabins, which is fine. It's not a bad name, but it's not as good as Getaway Cabin.
Shots fired. This Christmas episode is popping off.
So I've heard, and this could be complete bollocks, but I've heard that it was like one of their investors, their senior investors, basically just wanted to change it on a whim. Which, don't sue me, that's just what I heard. Blame my for passing me that information. But yeah, it just, I think those with Getaway, AutoCamp, and I think less so under Canvas, but the venture-backed ones, there's just so much pressure to deliver the ADRs and occupancies, and if they don't hit them, then people are kind of breathing over their shoulder, and that just screams like the CEO of Getaway didn't seem that enthused by it in the post that he wrote. I don't know, again, maybe he supported it. I don't know, but it just seemed a bit strange to me as well.
Getaway Cabin is such a good name. Like, if you look at Under Canvas, AutoCamp, Collective Retreats, Auberge Resorts, those are all all those names are fine. But I would say that Getaway Cabin is the best name out of all of those. So it's just funny.
I don't know. I think Under Canvas is quite good.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's catchy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, and also I just don't think that the nod to nostalgia is where the industry needs to go. Like, the nostalgia is in camping outside. Like, that, it's embedded. So if the idea was that Postcard was gonna somehow call back and evoke this emotion that's going to make someone want to get away, I'll leave it at that.
All right.
My naughty list is, I hate it when a glamping website seems to want to make it as difficult as possible for you to book a stay. And it's not just glamping, it's hotels as well. I think it's absolutely unforgivable that if you have a website that isn't a seamless booking experience. So that is mine. And then nice list is anyone who invests in Posh Outdoors. Connor.
Yeah. We need a counter. We need like a counter. I love it.
Okay. Who in the industry is most likely to make you laugh?
All right, I know the answer to this one. I'm going to say Mo Kruger at Live Oak Bank. I don't think he's been on the podcast, but he works with Nick Parker. Nick Parker was a close second because he's pretty funny as well. Like, just some chances to spend with him out at the outdoor symposium out in Wilmington when we were there. And he's just like, I don't know how else to describe this. He's just like the cutest dude. He says the funniest things, and I don't know. I'll just leave it at that.
This duo makes me laugh. I mean, the Nick Connor duo cracks me up just because I just feel like you guys are just so authentic to yourselves, and every time I come on the pod, it's just such a good time. So I will say that you guys make me laugh. I enjoy that. Yeah, I enjoy your voice in the industry for sure.
You. Travis makes me laugh. That guy's hilarious.
Which Travis?
Travis Chambers.
Oh, right, yeah. His Instagram stories are funny. You guys make me laugh, I'll say that. I also think he'll be listening to this as well. one of my co-founders, Kevin O'Brien, is like very, very funny. Like I can't really describe the way it is funny, and most of his jokes really aren't appropriate. But sometimes he cheers us up in the co-founder course. So Kevin, yeah, you owe me a beer for that.
My feeling is like when we see each other in person, it's gonna go next level because
Yes.
I do have to like temper some things on the pod. But you know, if we really wanted to start spilling the tea, so yeah, the pod gets like the watered down. But I think like if we were like out, if we went out, it would be fun.
Yeah, PG versions of us is marginally funny, and if you had the R-rated version, it might even get some good belly laughs.
Maybe we need to go to the pub or something together and take some mics and see what happens.
Agreed.
Really, we should have done this properly, but I'm too cheap to do it. Secret Santa, if you could get one gift for the other co-host, what would it be?
All right, if I was Nick's Secret Santa, I would get him some facial hair so people in the industry thought he was older. My girlfriend listens to the podcast. Very supportive. She's amazing. And I showed her a recording of our podcast. She was like, "That's Nick." Oh man. She's like, "How old is he?" So that's my wish for you, Nick.
Okay, well, my wish for Connor would be for some hair. So, but okay.
The Christmas episode coming with all the punches, and then for you, Jacob, I would want to get you a spa day at the Bingen Society Hotel, and you had 2 guest passes.
Wow, that's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
I would take you up on that for sure.
that'd be awesome.
Okay, Nick, I would get you one of those weighted travel Snuggie hoodies for all your transcontinental flights that you have to do. Like, so it'd definitely be one of those like travel kind of things.
I actually need one of those.
Yeah, so then you just like get in your own little cocoon. It's so funny, Connor. Mine was also in that vein for you. Like, I would want to gift you. I would want to gift you an experience at Auberge Resorts, but our Costa Rica property. Not that I don't love Bishop's Lodge, and my dog is trying to also get in this conversation. But what's interesting about Costa Rica Auberge is that it's all inclusive, and it's the only one in the portfolio. So they can do a lot of cool things that they don't have to like think about price and return, and it's a different calculation specifically for that property. So yeah, 2-night stay in Alta Gracia.
I would love that. That sounds amazing.
His present's a lot more expensive than mine, Jacob.
Is it different? You're a very practical, pragmatic Brit, okay? So you've got the British pragmatic gift. Connor got the wasteful American trash youth.
All right, okay. I would get Connor a spa package, like obviously, and then Jacob.
We'd get to go together, right, Nick? I can't go without you.
Yeah. And then Jacob, I know how much you enjoyed the episode we did with Randy from Camp It Resort, so I would get you a pass to Camp It. And I still can't say the name, Sagatuk, Sorgatak, whatever, but I would get you that.
I mean, the 3 a.m. DJ poolside, it might be the best amenity in the outdoor hospitality space.
Yeah, I would love to just be a fly on the wall at that event. That'd be awesome. Okay, favorite episode of the podcast this year?
I gotta go with the one with Tori and Bolt Farm Treehouse was so. I think that was so good for the listeners. Just gold after gold, and that's probably the most informational. And then the one that I enjoyed the most, just on a personal level, was the one we had with Travis Chambers, and he just really got me thinking about hospitality and the customer journey, and taking people to a different world in a different way. And we had that whole conversation about unlocking play for guests, or getting guests to have an active role in the experience. So it's not, just pay to play and self-serve, but like have guests really participating and putting some energy and effort into the journey. So that really made me think about hospitality in a different way. So I loved that.
I have a top 2. I would say slightly edging out, and the number one spot is the Ben Wolf and Isaac French and Zach episode, because those are like, I really respect that trio for sure, and how they try to push the industry forward. Shout out to Zach on that recent acquisition. That's what I'm talking about, brother.
Yes.
So yeah, really stoked on that. That episode was really exciting. So that's a more recent one. And then, I don't know, kind of going back in the archive a little bit. The design episode was really good with, God, why am I blanking on his name? He helped AutoCamp.
Spursman.
Yeah, with Will. Because, like, it's so funny, like, I'll be in, like, meetings with, like, hotel owners, and they're like, yeah, we called this guy named Will. And I'm like, we're, like, very adjacent but have never met, so it's cool to get his perspective, because I'm pretty sure Mendocino Grove has called Will. I know that my friend Avenir Hospitality has definitely called him. So it's just, like, it's interesting. So I like that episode, because I think Will's he's like a secret agent in the hospitality scope.
Yeah. He we grilled him a lot on that episode, but I thought that turned out pretty interesting, because he just gave great answer after great answer. So I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
For me, I would have to.
This is the biggest award because you've done the most episodes.
Yeah. I would give an honorable mention to your first episode, Jacob. Bullshit one. I thought that was really fun.
I love that comment too. God, look at my new headphones.
Oh yeah, that was the one where you had a hater.
Getting trolled. Getting trolled.
You had the telecom support headphones.
Yeah. This
How may I direct?
clearly runs.
How may I direct your call?
Hello, thank you. Please hold.
Please hold.
Yeah, other one flips down. Yeah.
I think my favorite was probably the first one we did. Was it the first one we did post revamp with Big Noel? I thought that was really fun, just because it felt like we vindicated what we were trying to do with the podcast, and that it was a lot more free flowing. We kind of just went down a few rabbit holes, and I think it was also hopefully pretty valuable as well. So I really enjoyed that, and it was actually kind of fun getting to know Big Noel a little bit better and his story. And I think Connor, I think you were his friend before, but certainly it kind of strengthened my relationship with Big Noel a lot, and enjoyed spending time with him at the glamping show. And I think that was a fun one. Cool. Okay, I think that's the last of the glamping questions. We've just got a couple more. Oh yeah, favorite Christmas movie?
Griswold's Family Christmas, the National Lampoon. That's just all time. Clark Griswold.
I watched it. Is that the one with Chevy Chase?
Yeah.
I tried to watch it like 3-4 years ago. I hated it.
What?
I think he's like completely irredeemable as a character.
Where's your soul? Where's your sense of humor?
It left me cold, man.
Non-stop laughs. Just 2 hours of every scene's a classic.
Maybe it's too American.
It's a very American experience, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say that's very high on the list. But the first Grinch is a classic that I think gets left behind. So I think Grinch is great for Christmas Vacation. My friend group, we watched that on New Year's Eve, so that was kind of our New Year's Eve tradition. And then we would just like watch it and then have fun and party it. But it was like it's a very meaningful movie from that perspective for me.
All right, what's yours, Nick?
I'm a sucker for a Christmas movie. Like, there's so many. I think
I'm just so ready to rip apart whatever you suggest.
All right. Okay, well, I'll give a couple of honorable mentions, and you can't rip this one. It's a Wonderful Life. Banger. Just a great film.
Heartwarmer.
Yeah, heartwarmer, but also like shoved down the throats of every elementary school kid and middle school kid.
Again, I think America, like, it's more of an American thing. Like, I didn't really know about it that much until, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, and I watched it and I thought it was amazing.
It's such a classic, but then you just like get beat over a head when you grew up here with it.
Okay.
All right, well, here's a chance for you guys to berate me, because I've actually never seen It's a Wonderful Life all the way through.
What?
Not a
So
good
you've
student.
tried?
Yeah.
I don't know. It never was on. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just a good film, full stop, I think. Like, I reckon you should watch it this year. Give it a go.
Okay. All right. I'll do it for you.
This one is probably definitely more, fair enough if you have a pop at me for this. Elf. I really like that film. And then
That's good.
I think
it's good.
the ultimate is Home Alone.
Oh,
I watch that every year.
You pick great movies, Nick.
Yeah.
You pick great movies.
yeah. I actually can't berate you for any of those. Oh, those were all good. And you know what? Home Alone, that might edge out, whatever the Griswold's Family Christmas. Man, Home Alone is good. Every little boy in America's dream to just have their house robbed and what they would do.
Joe, when I realised I was getting old, despite what your girlfriend says, Connor, like that house is gorgeous.
Oh my God! Right? Yeah, the big joke.
What a beautiful house. Yeah, you just notice different things.
Yeah.
I think that house is maybe Illinois. I want to look that up. I thought it was like Chicago suburbs. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, favorite Christmas song.
Hark ever bells, sweet silver bells, all
Well, there you
bells they throw. And then just because that song hits so hard in the second half, where it's like, boom.
It's the church scene, yeah.
There be the name while people sing songs. Yeah, it's kind of like also if you're headed to a Christmas party and like that's the song you're all listening to on the way there, like you're gonna go in amped, ready to go.
Let me give you some insight to this special brain. So I pledged a fraternity successfully when I was in college.
Oh.
And that was our song during Hell Week. So for me, that song registers different because yes, it does pump you up to pledge and get hazed. So yeah, that was very exciting for me. So every time I hear Carol of the Bells, I instantly go into PTSD, and not in a bad way because I'm way past it now, 10 years removed from college. However, Carol of the Bells is crazy because it does pump you up. And when you hear it for 6 hours, starting at 11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning for 5 days in a row, it's like, you'll never forget that song. Yeah.
I would have never painted you as a frat boy.
Me neither.
Represent. Let's do it.
Oh, you've got a tat?
Guys, I am all in on teamwork and leadership. And like that is what at its core, that's what fraternities are supposed to be. But I love Carol of the Bells. I think, Blue Christmas is just like such a jazzy song, so I love Blue Christmas as well.
I would go Fairy Tale of New York. I presume that's big in the US? No?
I've never heard of this.
Oh my God. Oh, right.
Can we have the editor dub this over in this section? Just drop it.
Yeah, just play it. Yeah,
I don't think we're big time enough to get copyright strike, so that's fine. Banger. It's like it's an Irish band, but it's massive in the UK. Like even
I'm gonna look it up and save it on my Spotify. What is it?
Fairy Tale of New York. It's
going to end up number one on Connor's rap list next year.
But you're going to say number one in the American charts. I was like, I really don't think we're big enough for that. But no, yeah, that's my favourite. It's like when you're drunk in the pub at Christmas, unreal.
I was going to ask if there was, British Christmas songs, you brought one up, and it is ironic that you're.
It's that. Well, I'd have to say.
Irish.
If we have any Irish listeners, they would never forgive us if
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. UK or that island, whatever. What's the term that encompasses Ireland?
Well, you've got Northern Ireland is part of the UK.
When you refer
Republic of Ireland is very much not part of the UK.
When you're referring to the UK plus Ireland, what do you say?
The UK and Ireland.
Oh, okay. Right,
it's not like it is just, to be fair, it is a completely separate country, and a lot of them are very, very keen on emphasizing that.
All right, well, I'm just uncultured.
Something about the 1970s and 80s.
Yeah, apparently we used to be the bad guys, something like that. But,
Also, it's such an American thing to say. It's like, wait, you have British Christmas songs. This is.
Oh, we could go in. I nearly mentioned British Christmas movies. Is Love Actually a thing? Do you guys know Love Actually? Yeah, we've got a treasure trove. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone should listen to Fairy Tale of New York. It's a banger.
I will go back and listen to it.
Will do.
Okay. Favorite? Sorry. New Year's resolutions. Last question.
So I'm finally home in Bend, and it gets cold in Bend. And here I have my cold plunge, which is a poor man's cold plunge, which is just like a horse trough. It's plastic. It's $100. But fortunately, it gets cold enough in Bend that it freezes. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the routine of going out, like roll out of bed, go break the ice with a hammer, do a cold plunge for 3 minutes, and then hop in the hot tub. But what's so special about it, and I'm not trying to make myself sound really macho, or maybe I am, but it's really special when you break the ice, you get in, and you're like, your neck is surrounded by the ice, and then it's just, there's snow falling, and you see like birds flying through the trees or the wind. It's like to have the snow falling around you while you're in the cold plunge, and then after that you get to go get in the hot tub that's pretty special. So I'm excited to get back into that.
Wim Hof is through you, Connor. He is inside. He is allowing you to radiate. Yeah, no, it sounds special.
Yeah, welcome to the Joe Rogan podcast.
We've got enough bold people for it.
Oh, I just can't do it. My sister loves Wim Hof. Yeah,
That was a good one, Nick.
Well, you've riled me up with that facial hair comment.
How about y'all?
I don't know. New Year's resolutions, I don't know. I don't have a tendency to set them. I'm doing a lot of self-observation always. So it's hard. I am, I'm going to go dip and consult in the first quarter of the new year. So even though it's not a resolution, I'm looking forward to making some progress for one of my clients coming up in the new year.
So you're going to be doing consulting on the side?
Just for like 12 weeks.
Congrats. That's very exciting.
Yeah,
what type
nice.
of stuff are you consulting on? Or are you allowed to share?
No, yeah, it's hospitality properties. But I've known a person, like a owner, for a while, and we've always trying to figure it out how it's work. Will it work? Can it work? And yeah.
Are you open for more people to get in touch to ask about it?
What did you say? Sorry.
Are you open for more people to get in touch to ask about the services?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Auberge is very graciously letting me take this one contract, so I don't think it'll be a full-time thing. But I've given tons of free advice over the last 4 months. When our listeners hit my email, I try to give them some advice. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So if anyone does want to get in touch about that,
yeah, not a plug, but just I'm always trying to expand my learnings, right? And I'm so lucky to be in the same space as you two, who are very entrepreneurial and just have been shown very good examples of chasing that, and just so I'm stoked to see what that looks like.
okay. Well, my answer is probably predictable. It's 2025. I hope is the year that is the year of Posh Outdoors. It's all lining up quite nicely. We'll be opening our first site next year. Maybe one or two others. Certainly, we should be doing some marketing campaigns for one or two others. So next year, I think, is the year it all happens. So,
and I welcome your crying celebration. I think let's normalize crying for everyone out there. You should shed a tear. You have devoted a lot of your last, how many years now, Nick?
I don't want to think about it.
I'm really excited for you, Nick. I think, since we first met, I've always been impressed by you and how much you've accomplished in such a short amount of time. And seeing, I've always bet on you, and that's doing the podcast with you and investing in Posh Outdoors and literally I think it's the most amount of money I've ever put into anything besides sandy vans. But
No pressure.
But that's because I believe in you, and every month it gets more real, and I've seen how amazing the site is, and now I've seen pictures of how stunning the units are, and you've kind of walked me through your strategy for opening. So I mean, I think you're just about to blow the lid off, and all your hard work over the past few years is going to come to fruition. So I'm really excited to see.
You're just a real one, Nick. You're a real one. Both of you. You guys are just two genuine people, and it's just that's who we want to succeed. I want the Nicks in the world to succeed, and if you get to carry that flag, it's so exciting.
Oh, that's very kind, guys. Thank you. my second resolution would be, I've been spending so much time doing this that
A girlfriend.
Yes. Yeah. How do you read my mind?
Is that actually it?
Get out of my head.
It was like after the first site's open, I really need to actually put effort into finding a girlfriend. That was it.
That is, we need to get you a life.
Hey, if there's any nice ladies listening, hit me up, mate. Shoot me an email.
The vetting process is going to be more intense now because you are the next leader of the outdoor hospitality space. So,
yeah, well, come visit me. We can try to set up a double date.
I'm not taking any of your dating advice ever again, Connor, after you've shafted me the last 2 times. I don't know whether I mentioned this on the pod. Connor gave me some advice a while back that was basically, whenever you message someone on Tinder or Hinge and ask them on a date, you always give them a choice. Do you want to go to a dive bar or a fancy bar? And he claimed that every time he's asked someone that, the answer was always dive bar. I've used it twice in the last 6 months, and both of them have said fancy. So,
also, I want to put this out. I want to put this out into the world. I think you need to consult your gay friends, aka me, for dating advice, because ultimately, like, who's whispering in their ear is their gay best friend. No one has more insight into a heterosexual female than the gay best friend. So to call Connor, who's happily committed, not in the dating world, it's just, I want people reach across the aisle.
Well, and anybody would be better than Connor based on his track record with me so far. So
all right, Oracle. Jacob, what would you advise? What would your advice be?
On what conversation starters? How deep do you want to go into this? This is the second. Yeah.
Date ideas.
Well, I tell you what, that I've been rinsing the "I'm opening a glamping site in 4 months" line straight away. Those mirror cabins are sexy.
It's a good plug. Shameless plug.
I think just lean into your strengths, which is right now it's just development, and then I don't try to do something new on the first date. I just don't think it's a good idea for anybody where they're like, I've never, let's use hot air ballooning. I've never done hot air ballooning. Let's do that together. In theory, magical, mystical first date. In practice, you could be scared. They could be scared. So I really caution from trying new things, new food, new activities together on a very first time meeting. Like, I think you have to have, comfortable ground.
I disagree completely. I would use the advice: don't spend a lot of money on a first date because you never know how the other person's going to be.
You don't have to convince me of that.
But the way if I wasn't using that line with Nick, which I love, because I always felt that most fun gals wouldn't say, oh, like they'd be like, oh, they want to be fun, be like, oh, I'll go to the dive bar, like I'm edgy, but for them to say, oh yeah, take me to the fancy luxury place, I'd be getting out of there, pull the ripcord. But also, like, when I was single, which obviously I'm not anymore, so I'm a bit out of practice. So maybe the landscape has changed. But I would love to just pick out things that I wanted to do and then float the idea. And if they wanted to do it, great. I got to do something I wanted to do. And if the date went well, then that was a score too.
All right. Well, when we do the 2025 Christmas special, we'll know whether I've failed or not. I'll take Posh succeeding at the expense of a girlfriend for one more year. That's fine.
Well, welcome to this episode of love and dating advice with the three
people that just can't help. Like I'm engaged. Connor's committed. I've been with my partner for 10 years, so I'm so far removed. But I will say that I've gotten a lot of my straight friends good dates in their life. So,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll call you next time. Connor's after this.
Guess I'm out of a job.
Well, they'll just think you're like just way more rounded. They're like, wow, you have a gay friend, Nick, and you guys are like on a pod together. You must be like very progressive.
Oh, don't mention the podcast. The podcast is not a.
It's not a.
That's like a. I'll tell you like 3 years in.
Oh boy.
Right. Well, I've enjoyed that. That was good fun.
Yeah.
I think it's been a fun year, and we are a little bit sad. Jacob, I don't know whether you heard at the start of the episode, we are cutting down on the frequency of episodes next year, just because of the workload associated with Posh. But we're certainly not going away, so we're going to have some fun episodes next year. You will definitely be on several, I know.
Yeah, maybe it just evolves into like it's only in person and not like the remote pod, right? Like that's what it could be. Like we all meet in Colorado. We can all meet in Barcelona.
I made a note halfway through this episode: drunk Christmas special 2025 next year. Like that could be fun.
I like it.
But
yeah, and I'll see if I can convince Nick to let me go rogue on a couple episodes, and see if he'll let me run wild.
Yeah, Connor may be taking my job next year, so maybe we'll have more in the new year. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, Connor may be doing a few episodes of his own. So
but you guys have been able to get the best guest. I mean, truly, like it's been like an amazing year of like guests for the pod. So like you should be very proud of yourselves.
Well, the last 6 months particularly, I think has been
insane.
Time. Yeah, I mean that's correlated with you joining the pod, Connor. So full credit has to go to you for that.
I mean, yeah, we're like way out of our league. It kind of blows my mind that these people say yes to come talk to us.
Yeah,
I mean, like Bolt Farm, that trio that you mentioned with Zach, Isaac, Ben, Travis, Open Sky, Will Spursman. I mean, like the list just goes on and on. I mean, we're lucky to have gotten to have the time of such bright people in this space.
Maybe like try to go get Bashar Wali. I crush on Bashar. Look up his LinkedIn. He's indoor hospitality for sure, but he's so smart. He's a good writer. He's developed some sweet stuff. So maybe that's a target list. Check out Bashar. He was in your backyard for a long time. He did a lot in the Portland hospitality scene in like the early 2000s through like 2020. So
text me his name. See if we can make it happen.
Make it happen.
All right. Well.
Wait,
Merry
show
Christmas,
us your
everyone.
Christmas. I've got penguin pants on, people. This is how we need to end the episode.
Yeah, we've all got Christmas jumpers on. Connor's got a Ron Weasley Harry Potter Christmas jumper
Go
on.
Packers.
For Americans who don't know what a jumper is, it's a Christmas sweater. Let me translate for my friend here.
Sorry about that.
I'm wearing my Packers jumper because nothing's more American than football in the winter. So.
Yeah, cheese and football. That's about as American as it gets.
Fake football.
All right, gang.
And with that.
Bye, guys.
All right. Happy Christmas,
Merry Christmas,
everyone.
guys.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.